All right. That countdown kept going there. All right. Hey, everybody. How are you guys? Look, I'm excited you're here. Look, tell me, can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure, you guys can hear me all right. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. This is good. Look, if you are here, let me know. All right. Would love to know. Would love to know who's in the room here with me. Looks like 5 of you guys are in here, which is pretty sweet. So let me know if you're here. We are starting. I know the comment says we are starting soon, but we're live right now, baby. We're live right now. So yeah, say hi. And where are you guys watching from? Where are you guys watching from? Would love to know where you guys are all based out of. And thanks for spending some time with me today, guys. Look, and if you're watching on a replay, welcome to you as well. Hey, Brian's here all the way from like 30 minutes from where I am right now. Brian, I'm glad you can join me digitally, virtually, online. Great to see you the other week too, man. India, what the heck? So cool. Right down the street, and then we got like an entire day of travel away. Awesome. Cordero Photography. What's up, Gene? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for joining me. Look, I got some housekeeping things I want to just go over real quick. First, I had a new behind the scenes video release on the channel last week, I think. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Cool. Go check that out. Number 2, I have 52 weeks of emails ready to go out to you. If you're already on my email list, that you're probably getting those already. If you're not on the email list, there's a link in the description. Go sign up, go get those 52 emails, 1 a week for an entire year. Photography tips, wedding photography tips, things like that, going out to you every week for an entire year, 52 weeks. Third, and likely the most exciting announcement, Jai here from Boston. Awesome. Welcome. Most exciting announcement is that I am in the middle of recording a new course for you guys. Some of you might know, some of you might not know. I had a Patreon for a little while. I had that for, I don't know, a year and a half, ended up migrating away from Patreon to a new platform. I'm currently revamping that entire thing, which is sweet. So I'll be covering that a little bit more, talking about that a little bit more throughout this live stream once we dive in here. But I want to know, what do you guys, if you took a course from me, what would you want to learn? So please share in the comments at some point throughout this live stream what you'd want to learn in a course from me. I have a lot of the course kind of written and recorded already, but always looking to add some new things. Want to make sure that this is like the best it can be. It's a 6-month-long kind of course membership thing. So I'll explain more later. It's very, very cool, very exciting. So yeah, please let me know what you guys might want to learn. I'm super interested. And if you want to join the waitlist to get some info when like that releases, there's a link in the description of this video as well. So go do that. Lastly, these live streams work best when you guys ask questions, and that way I'm not just sitting here, quietly with my thoughts myself. I have some music playing in the background that you guys can't hear, just in case it goes quiet and I don't want my brain to go crazy. So look, we're going to be diving in here. We're editing a wedding from this past Saturday. We're going to be editing mainly just the blog images. I've already gone through and selected. Let me get this screen up here. I've already gone through and kind of, tagged these 3 stars for, the images we're going to edit first. And then I'm going to take these images into Batch.ai and use AI to help me, edit this wedding. And then everything that's in green is going to be a blog image. All right. And I've already done a little bit of base edits here. You can see my guy Phil here. And I've already done a base edit on him. And we're going to be using the Archetype Process profiles. So that's the after, that's the before, that's the after. You can see very, very simple. Yeah, we're using the Archetype Process film profiles here today. And again, let me know, is the music too loud? Is my mic too low? Give me some feedback here. I want to make sure that this is working properly. All right. Yes, using the Archetype Process film profiles. So what these are essentially, well, they're film profiles. They're not presets, right? Presets go over here. Film profiles exist over here on the right-hand side. You can download these guys. They're amazing. These things are amazing. I did a full video on these if you want to learn more about that on my channel. But you got some Kodak, you got some Fuji, you got some monochrome black and white, and there's a bunch of different bunch of different options here. You can see how it changes when you hover over, and they have options for Frontier scanners or Noritsu scanners. So I'm a Frontier guy myself, so I end up using that. And I love, this is Kodak Portrait 800. Love Portrait 800. So that's what we're using today to edit. So we're just gonna start. All right. And look, the best way to do this, I already have an adjustment on. All right, you can see this. You know, if I get rid of that, add the basic adjustment. This is just my basic adjustment preset for these film profiles, and then you pretty much go in here and you go down to the Kodak and you go all the way down to Portrait 800. But where are we? There we are. Great. And then they also have these optimizers. Look, this isn't, I don't get any kickback from Archetype Process. I just love these profiles so much. We got to tone down a little bit of this here. Here we go. Honestly, this image is probably going to be a black and white. And also, I would just want to mention, Sarah, this is Sarah here, guys. Sarah, if you're watching this, because I know you've watched some of my videos on YouTube, if you're watching this right now live, I encourage you to leave, go away. Don't have the surprise of all your images spoiled through a live stream. I will send you a blog post this week, so don't be tempted to watch this. Just in case you're watching, Bride, I do not want you to have this spoiled for you, Sarah. Okay, so go somewhere else. Go do something else. Just in case you're in here. Anyway, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. It's gonna be good stuff. What questions do you guys have? I'd love to know. And I'm gonna turn this off. That way you can see the full. Where in the world did my mouse go? Oh, hang on. Here we go. Ah. Everything just glitched out. Oh my God. Hang on. We're going to come back to me real quick. Oh, that was crazy. Okay, cool. Everything sounds good. I just got all those comments at once. So that was interesting. I think I have like my iPad here, which was running my live stream, and I think it just glitched out. So hang on, bear with me for a second as I get this reconnected. That way I can kind of control this stream while I'm in the iPad and the computer. Goodness gracious, that was weird. Okay. Let's stop this. We're gonna re-add it. I am the worst live streamer ever. 100% the worst. Definitely not good at this. Hey, there we go. Okay. I think we fixed it. Oh my God. Oh, Courtney's here. Hi, Courtney. Thanks for hanging. All right. There we go. There's going to be a lot of copy pasting today, guys. A lot of copy pasting. All right. There's Dad hanging outside. Oh. Goodness gracious, people. I am riding the struggle bus today. And these are really just preliminary edits. Like, I'm probably going to tweak most of these. So I'm just trying to get these mostly right to start. I've already edited this one just to kind of get a feel for what today was going to be like. This will be a black and white eventually. So the thing with Batch is that I need to kind of, get some base edits done. So I can't make anything really black and white until after I get the edit locked in, the color locked in. All right. So I'm just curious here. I'm wondering if I've broken my live stream, because the last comment I have is from Brian at 11:35. I'm wondering if if I'm just not seeing comments come through. I want to make sure that I see these. Hang on. Let's do this. Let's go back to here. Okay, that looks like it was the last comment. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that was a weird glitch that we had a little bit ago. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing your comments if they are coming through. What's everybody doing today? Plan. Is anybody else editing? You guys have any weddings this past weekend? I know Courtney did. I know Courtney had a wedding. She got some sneak peeks up pretty quick the other day from that wedding I saw. Couple's name here is Phil and Sarah. They're the sweetest couple ever. Had an awesome time with these two. And what we're running into here is just like a lot of issue here. I'm going to do kind of a batch of, there's just a lot of different color temperatures happening. So we're going to select all the weird color temperatures first. Dude, yeah, morning coffee. I need that's where I'm at too. I have some Wawa coffee here with me. Need it. I need the coffee. Need the coffee, baby. That's what I need. I've become a little addicted to some lattes and espresso and that sort of thing. I can't function without it anymore. I get headaches now without it. Didn't think that was going to be something I would have to deal with in my life. I didn't like coffee up until 2 years ago. It was during COVID. It was during COVID. Coffee is one of those things I've always wanted to like, and I just never kind of put the time in to acquire the taste for it. So I think it was during COVID. It was the entire month of June. I was like, I'm going to drink coffee every day for the entire month of June. And hopefully by the end of that month, I will become a convert. And I think it was day 5. I was like, yeah, this is good. I can do this. And I just haven't really stopped drinking coffee since. So yeah, I can't really survive. I can't really survive without it. Yeah, that may be a photographer's thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I need it. We stopped to get coffee before this wedding, and both of us, me and my wife, drank maybe, I don't know, 10% of each of our cups of coffee, and because they were just so disgusting. I don't know who was making the coffee that day, but they should not make coffee ever again for paying customers. It was so bad. It was so bad. We just dumped it out when we got to the place. It was the worst coffee I've ever had. So disgusting. Okay, there's before and after. Keeping things very, very simple. Look, we don't want to overcomplicate this. Actually, magenta a bit there. There we go. I like my photos very natural. Very natural looking. And again, I love getting ready in black and white too. So that's going to be something that a lot of these end up getting converted to, I think, just because it just looks so good. I already have a base here for Phil, so we're just going to copy this. In case you're wondering what my copy settings are, literally I have everything checked off except for masking, tealing, and crop. Everything else is on. And to give you an idea of what is on here, right? We're adjusting the exposure. You can see if the exposure was all the way down at 0, it looks pretty dark. So we bumped that up to a whole extra stop. Really minor adjustments to highlight shadows. Nothing going on in presence. Tone curve, not a whole lot here. Just a little extra pop in the lights. Nothing for any of the colors. HSL has a good bit of stuff happening here because of these camera optimizers from the Archetype Process. Again, those are linked in my description there. Color grading, 0. Detail, there's a little bit of sharpening happening. Lens corrections are not on. They should be on. Glad I checked that. Transform, nothing. Effects, nothing. And then calibration, nothing. So these profiles do a whole lot. to these photos. Do you edit everything in color first, then go back and change them to black and white? I mean, whoa, mama, goodness gracious. This is the question, guys. And yes, Ricky, yes, I do that because these profiles, not the profiles, the AI I use to help me edit like the entire wedding, takes the photos that I'm using currently as like my reference, as my anchors. So if I were to edit this photo here in black and white, and then my next like 10 photos before my next reference photo, everything's gonna be black and white up until that next reference photo, that next anchor image, if that makes sense. So like, for example, here's my current anchor, here's my next anchor. If I were to edit this image here in black and white, then this image would also end up being black and white, and then we'd go back to whatever this image is going to be. So like, I do everything in color first and then go back and just kind of make my black and white selects. We'll get to that process today for sure. You'll see me select some in black and white. I love black and white. I'm like very partial to it. I think almost too partial maybe. And I think I could shoot an entire wedding in black and white. If clients were to love that and not ask me for color images, I think I might do that because I just love the look so much. Just too classy, you know, especially when you're in black tie and, you know, black suits, black tux, that sort of thing. It just looks too good. I blew out his cheek here a little bit. It's a little too bright. So like, this will be a black and white image. Pretty sure this will be black and white. Like, that's gonna look nice. Yeah, I definitely blew that out. Yeah, bummer. Look, I make mistakes too, guys. I'm not perfect. Mario, greetings from Portugal. Awesome. I want to go to Portugal. I hear it's beautiful there. All right, edited this guy already. All right, so what I'm doing in here again, like you can see the differences of the before. Here's the after. Just copy this so you can see the settings again. So we're at 4250 color temperature here, white balance. When I paste this on, you're gonna see like I drop this down a whole lot. So we're cooling this off. We're dropping the tint down a bit, and we're just increasing exposure and doing kind of the same sort of zigzag pattern that I was doing before with the other photos. I tend to pull the highlights down and the whites down a bit, boost shadows and blacks, that sort of thing. And then just some basic cropping. So really pretty simple. And again, this is a church, a Catholic church. So a lot of this ends up being in black and white too. Because I think churches, honestly, there's so much color going on in some of these places that black and white ends up looking a little bit cleaner. Do you use a highlight warning on your camera? Would you say is more of a personal preference as a photographer? I don't know if I do have a highlight warning on my camera, to be honest. I might, but I just don't pay attention to that if I do. Thankfully with like the mirrorless cameras, you could kind of, what you're seeing is what you're going to get. And I think I probably was just moving too fast in the other photo with the portrait of Phil there. And I just didn't pick up on the fact that the side of his head was really bright. But I didn't know there was a highlight warning. There probably is. I probably should look at that and find out, because that could be handy, even if it was just giving me a notification, like a little flashing light that said like, hey, overexposed. I know the meter kind of does that, but I'm not looking at the meter all the time, right? I'm trying to like look at, hey, what is the emotion happening in front of me? I'm trying not to, get too technical with how I shoot and more just try to feel the day out, just to get those candid stuff, that candid goodness. And I did shoot a lot of this day on a 50 millimeter, in case anybody's wondering, using a 50 millimeter 1.4 from Sigma. I'm I'm not super worried about this crop here. I'm going to probably come back through a lot of these photos later on and really refine them. Definitely some work we could do with these. And this is pretty much the same exact photo. Probably should get rid of one of these. I'm really bad. One of the things I need to work on is giving too many duplicates or too many similar photos. Definitely not something I'm very good at. Let me copy this again. Seeing his bride for the first time. Some magenta here. Warm this up a little bit. Yeah, I really loved this wedding. This was really, really pretty. I would shoot these guys every day of the week if I could. Beautiful. It was a beautiful church too. We shot here back in October for a wedding, and really enjoyed shooting in this church. It was definitely more updated than a lot of the other churches we end up walking into. Oh, Mario, I would love that. I know you're a little biased. Yeah, look, I would love to come to Portugal. I would love to come to Portugal. If we come, I'll let you know. It's definitely a dream of mine. I would love to do like this giant just tour of Europe, everything from the UK, Ireland, Scotland, England, down to France, both like countryside and city, and then down into Spain and Portugal and Germany. God, it's like, I would love all of that. That would be amazing. I'm using the I'm trying to get better at showing these comments here. I'm using a Sony a7 III, and that's what we did for all of our cameras. Are Sony a7 IIIs. They're really incredible cameras, especially for the price. I think they're one of the best full frame cameras on the market for the price. Like, I really don't think you're gonna find one that's at a lower price point. I mean, considering like we were shooting at 5D Mark IIIs on Canon when we first started, and those ran brand new $3,500, and I think the A7 IIIs right now are like $1,600 or $1,800, and they're incredible. They're incredible cameras. Oh yeah, highly recommend the A7 IIIs. I see. Here's an issue that we run into, is the mixing of the color temperature. So we got blue light coming from these windows, these stained glass windows on the side, and we have these orange tungsten lighting. So this gets a little tricky. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to desaturate blues here if I can. Oh, I'm going to have to. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, there's like no way around. There's no way around this sort of thing, you know? Like, this is just gonna flat out be a better image in... That's probably the closest I can get. Better in black and white. Like, if we were to hover over black and white here, like, that just looks great, right? There's no color cast. Any film photography in this wedding? I did not do any film photography this wedding. It was a little bit chaotic because of just... We had so many points that we were traveling to, and I'm still kind of easing my way into, you know, film photography and into that realm. It's very different. I wanted to be able to shoot the best that I possibly could, and I think film was going to distract me a little bit too much. Next wedding, Friday. Also a little announcement in a way. I'm recording another behind the scenes video, full behind the scenes at a wedding, and we will be using some film. We'll be shooting some film there, both medium format. And oh, you know what? I did shoot film at this wedding, but it was during the reception, and it was on like a little point and shoot. That doesn't look good. Let's bring that back. It was on a little point and shoot. On a Ektar H35 half frame camera, so it splits the 35mm negative into 2 frames for every frame that it gives you. So a single picture actually gives you 2 pictures. So a 36 a roll of 36 exposures ends up giving you 72 exposures total, which is awesome because film's expensive right now. So that's what I used. But I only used it during the reception for like some dancing and stuff like that. I really wanted to experiment and see what like direct flash looked like on that film camera. And yeah, I haven't sent those scans. I'm waiting for the weddings this weekend to shoot a little bit more film, send a bunch of rolls in all at once. Well, if they turn out pretty well, then I will for sure be sharing those on Instagram 100%. Okay, so Mario's saying, using the A7 IV, still struggling to manage the correct exposure either in the viewfinder or on the back LCD. Any hint on this? Are they coming out a little bit like, are they too bright? Are they underexposed? How are they turning out for you overall? For me, I end up exposing pretty much like just dead on, like I just kind of look at the skin tones, you know, I just kind of look at the skin. If it looks like it does in person, that's kind of what I'm aiming for. Maybe a tad bit brighter than what I'm seeing in person. It kind of depends, I guess. Is this not on? I totally thought I turned lens corrections on. There we go. A little bit of noise reduction. There we go. Yeah, so like I end up exposing pretty much like for what it looks like in person, and that has served me pretty well. Thankfully, because it's mirrorless, like right, like you can see what it looks like before you take the picture, right? In the old days, way back, like I guess just 5 years ago, you'd have to take a picture on a DSLR, and then you'd have to, you know, check and then make your adjustments, and you don't really have to do that nowadays, which is great. So yeah, like that's kind of what I do. I'm wondering if you have exposure compensation on in some capacity. So check the knobs on the top of your camera and make sure like your exposure compensation's like set to 0, and make sure that like there's probably a setting internally that can turn off exposure compensation overall. I would double check on that, Mario. See if that does the trick for you. Is mom looking somewhere else? No way she's looking at me. Interesting. Okay. Gonna have to Photoshop her in some capacity at some point. Who are you using for film processing? Great question. Also in the Philly area, Christopher, again, awesome. Local guy, great. I'm actually using Rewind Film Lab, and I ship all of my film out to California. Probably could use a local place. But yeah, been using Rewind Film Lab. Really like the results they give me, and yeah, highly recommend them. They're great. They get scans back pretty quick to me too. But I know there's a few places in the Philly area that will scan for you and process for you and all that. This was actually just a test photo. She was concerned about how her bouquet looked, so I was taking a photo for her and showed her. We ended up keeping it. Without fail, there's always somebody with their eyes closed. Always somebody. There's a variety of faces here. Eyes shut. Yeah, there's going to be some Photoshop work that needs to happen. I'm sure you guys have seen the recently announced and updated generative fill Photoshop beta. Really insane, right? Really insane stuff. If you haven't seen it, maybe I'll get to that a little bit today. We'll see. Really mind-blowing, in all honesty. No, I don't like that. Let's bump that back up. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Like I will be using that to get rid of this over here. And it's great because all you end up doing is using like the lasso tool, and you circle this, and then you type in like remove parking sign, and it'll just remove it. It's freaking insane. You can't get your beta working. Oh no. I was like looking for it in the regular Photoshop for a little while, and I was like, where the heck is this? And I realized it was only in beta. So I immediately downloaded the beta, and unbelievable. A7 III in Portugal are still very expensive. I bought the A7 IV for 700 euros than I would buy the A7 III for. That's insane. That's so weird. Down. Noticing more eyes closed. Gonna have to go through and make some adjustments again. It keeps saying you're under 18, so you can't edit a face. I'm not even sure what that means. Like, it's not letting you open up because it says your account is under 18. Is that what you're saying? That is super strange, man. Super weird. All right, here we go. We're on to some portraits here. Did this really quick edit. This was the before. There's the after. Sure that this is correct before moving on here. There's a weird balance of trying to make sure that this feels like bright enough without like lifting too much the shadows of the black suit and jacket, you know. And then you don't want to, I don't want to like drop highlights all the way down, but I don't want like this super crazy bright spot on her dress there. That looks pretty good. There's an option you have to verify your age actually on your Creative Cloud. Yeah, so oh yeah, okay, cool. So I bet you if you went into your account settings, you could probably change that. But pretty much it just doesn't Photoshop beta, I guess generative fill doesn't want under 18-year-olds to do stuff on there that they shouldn't be doing. Sense? That tracks, I think. Oh, Sarah's gonna hate me for showing this one. We had a little sneak attack happen. I had Phil sneak up behind her. Lighting wise, not the best. She was far too much. I had her far too over in the shadows. Again, this will probably be a little bit better in black and white. Yeah. So that'll probably be a black and white image, but. And then she snuck attack up on him. And again, guys, these are not my selects for what's going in the blog. These are just my selects for, you know, the base edits. So this is not what I consider like the best photo of the bunch. Anything that's in green is something that will likely hit, you know, the blog, hit Instagram at some point potentially. Again, we're just editing some of the base images here. That's actually pre-edited already for me, so let's use this one a bit. Let's go back. There's stuff. You can see a golf cart back here. Like, I need to get rid of this guy, actually. I'm waiting for generative fill to come to Lightroom. That's what I want. I need that sucker in Lightroom ASAP. That's what I want. Maybe someday. Yeah, well, Ricky, I hope you fix that. I hope you're able to use it because it is kind of life-changing for certain things. Yeah, kind of life-changing. I'm excited to use it throughout this wedding season because there's constantly things I have to like Photoshop out or tweak. It's really insane. If we have some time today, I'll open it up and use it a little bit. I'm still not a pro at it, but from what I've seen, it is just mind-blowingly good. In fact, actually, the thumbnail cover of my recent behind-the-scenes video, that image was originally a vertical. It was originally a portrait orientation image, and everything like on the sides was created using the AI there. So it's just mind-blowing what it can do now. Really, really, really cool stuff. Didn't get to the place cards quick enough. Most of them are gone, but snagged a few shots anyway. This is the thing I run into all the time is like I can't get to like the cocktail hour area quick enough before guests kind of take everything. And I'm like, man, I wanted to photograph that and I just didn't have the time to do it. That's a little too blue. What's the biggest thing you guys are struggling with when it comes to editing? What's the struggle for you guys? Whether that be, you know, the amount of time it takes or and I guess let's do this. Let's just open this up for all of wedding photography. What are you guys struggling with the most? What is the biggest hurdle you guys are facing right now? Finding the motivation. Yep. I feel that. Is it like you just kind of want to edit, but you're like, man, I gotta cull first? Kind of stops you from getting to the edit. You're just like, man, I want to edit, but I gotta cull. I get that. I wonder if I could use a mask here. Oh, yeah, that does it. Consistency on white balance and editing. I feel that too. Christopher, let me ask, how long is it taking you typically to cull a wedding? I've heard a range. There's no shame here either, guys. Like, I know like everybody has a different workflow, different pace, different speed that they can cull. They can get through certain photos. Let's see if this works again. It does. Awesome. Curious, you know, how long does it typically take you? Because I mean, I know people who can cull, and I'm one of these people. I culled this wedding in about an hour, maybe hour and some change. I probably selected too many, but I end up deleting some as I go through and edit because, you know, I'd rather select a little bit more than too little. I know people who they take like 4 days to cull through. So I was just curious. Used to outsource all my editing and culling for the past years. Now that I have gone full time, trying to save those funds. Totally get that. Painful. I have to do it after 2 years of uploading being done and able to move on. No, totally. I get that. Look, I'd encourage you check out Aftershoot. You know, I used Aftershoot for like 2 or 3 shoots. I personally wasn't a huge fan, only because I think I'm really like stuck in my workflow. Like I have the workflow that works for me. But I've only heard amazing things about Aftershoot. 1 to 3 hours isn't bad. Yeah, so I only ever do 1 round. My second round of culling happens like right now. And so I end up deleting images as I go here. If I find that there's like some in here that I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have tagged this one, or I tagged a duplicate, or, you know, things like that. That way I feel like I can get to the editing. Yeah, that's how I felt with Aftershoot too. I'm like, why did you select this one over that one? Like the other one, the one you didn't select, I felt was better. I haven't used Imagine's culling yet. I haven't used really Imagine, you know, at all. I know people swear by it. It makes sense. If you're throwing it into Imagine to edit and you're doing, you know, two rounds of culling, then you're pretty much taking out the editing time. How much editing do you have to do after you use Imagine? I think all the AI is really working like very similarly. I think it's all very similar. I'm personally using Batch because I end up changing like my look somewhat consistently. Like I just change the way things look often. I don't want to be locked into style. Look, now I may be understanding how Imagine works incorrectly. That's totally possible. But from what I understand, right, it takes pretty much upload 5,000 images. It takes those 5,000 edited photos and it creates your profile. These are my videographers for the day, Drew and Moises. They were awesome. And then it just, you can, like you can fine tune your profile, but it updates when you give it more photos and you edit those photos, and you can send your tweaks back from the wedding you just edited, and it will update the way it edits for you next time. Things like that, I understand. I think great for matching white balance and colors from multiple cameras. Yeah, totally. I'll have to give it a shot sometime to see how it fully works. I jumped on the Batch train here when it first launched. Whoops. Really liked what Sean, the owner, was doing, and I just really like the interface because I don't have to ever leave Lightroom. Profile question. Do you have a method of what profile you applied to your editing images depending on the type of shooting lighting? Great question. I end up being really partial. So if I'm looking for something, like I originally actually threw on Fuji Pro 400 for this wedding when I was doing some like test edits before this stream, and it just felt a little bit too like flat for me, a little too desaturated in a way. So I ended up switching over to Kodak 400, then I actually switched to 800, and I just like the way 800 look. I end up going, like, if I'm going to use Fuji, I end up I end up using Fuji Pro 400. If I'm using Kodak, it ends up being either Kodak 160 or 400 or 800. I did use Ektar once, and Ektar was like, it was contrasty and punchy and colorful, but it was almost a little bit too much. So I just kind of feel it out. I'm pretty much always applying like a base edit to correct the color temperature and the exposure and things like that, and then I'll just kind of go through the list of profiles. But I don't worry. Even when I'm shooting film, I typically shoot Portrait 400, and I don't really worry about matching that too hard. Like I know that I could match it, but I just want what's best for the image at the moment. And yeah, like it just changes. It just depends on how I'm feeling, about how the wedding feels to me. This wedding was far more colorful when I think about this wedding than like what Fuji might give. Fuji definitely gives like a cooler tones, a little bit more pastel-y, but this wedding was vibrant and colorful, and so I opted for the Portrait 800. I love Portrait 800 so much. It looks so beautiful. And I would like to, I have never actually shot Portrait 800 film. I've only ever shot 160, Gold 200, and Portrait 400, and then some Fuji Pro 400H. I've shot some Ektar. The only portrait I haven't ever actually shot is 800, really. At some point I'll get my hands on some, but everything's just so dang expensive right now. So expensive. So yeah, there's really no rhyme or reason other than just me feeling it out. You know, saying, hey, I think this should be a little bit more colorful, or it should be a little bit more cool and pastel. Like, I don't know. It's just really kind of how I'm feeling at the moment. In case you're wondering how I decided here, you saw me, you know, bring this color temperature down and bring the exposure down. I'm looking at her dress here. That's what I'm looking at. So I turned off my my flash, and I wanted to see how this would work in a, you know, just natural lit environment here. And so I have to kind of adjust here based on the color of her dress. You can see how warm that is. Like, that's very warm. So looking at the color of her dress, I should bring down the tint a little bit, adjusting the exposure so my eye doesn't immediately go to the blown out highlight down here. Probably bring down the whites a bit. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at much else. I'm not really looking at the background. This will be a black and white image for sure. I'm finding I start to play it really safe for the first like 3 minutes of the first dance. I say 3 minutes, really. Most first dances happen in 3 minutes. I guess for the first 30 seconds of the first dance. And then I know my wife who's shooting with me is gonna play it safe as well, and get those safe shots. So then I do some motion blur and try and find some more creative ways of shooting. And I've become very partial to like the natural light in the space. It's become something I really like. I don't know. I want it to feel like it felt when you were there, you know? And so the natural light kind of gives that a little bit. I know I could get the same effect with flash, but you can see like the black and white, this isn't even edited, but once I contrast it up a little bit, it'll be really pretty. Yeah, I love the shutter drag in certain moments. Again, I made a video not too long ago about, you know, people using, you know, motion blur and things like that. You got to use it at the right time. I'm always trying to find moments that are in motion. People are in motion, so it's motivated. It's got to be motivated to me for it to work right. Like these guys were moving all over the floor, so it felt right to me to use it. If they were just standing in a circle or standing together and rotating in a circle, it wouldn't have called for it. But they were twirling and all that stuff all over the floor. It was a lot of fun. Exit signs are the bane of my existence. I hate them with a burning hot passion. Guys, do me a favor. If you're liking the stream, I need you guys to do me a favor. I need you guys to just tap that like button for me. It will help. It'll help quite a bit with the algorithm, you know, the dreaded YouTube algorithm. Also the bane of my existence. Exit signs and the YouTube algorithm. Thankfully, one of those things can be fixed with Photoshop generative fill. Do the same thing for the algorithm, but not that simple, unfortunately. Allison, hi. Is this a particular preset? Using the Archetype Process profiles. These are film profiles, film emulation. I made a video about these on the channel not too long ago. Really love it. I'm using the Portrait 800 setting. And this cool thing here too is like you can dial the amount that you want in. I normally leave it at 100. Wouldn't suggest going above that, but yeah, so these are the profiles. These are linked down in my description. These are not, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I just really love using them. So figured I'd share. And we're going to be using Batch.ai here in a minute. Actually, not in a minute, unfortunately. We have other cameras to go through. But we're tagging some, oh, hello. Tagging some reference images, some anchor images so that we can get to our edits here. And Batch can read those anchor images and start editing based on our anchor edits here. Let's bring this all the way up. Experimenting a little bit with direct flash. I still haven't fully gotten the hang of this. What I use for my mic, like the mic I'm using right now, this mic here. This is a Shure SM7B. It's a magic mic. It's a magical mic. Yeah, love this microphone. Not the cheapest mic ever. And also collects all sorts of debris. I have to throw it in my backpack and transfer it home or things like that. Just picks up like dog fur and like all sorts of stuff. But otherwise, it's a great little microphone. Highly recommend it. I think I heard that Michael Jackson recorded like Thriller on one of these mics on a Shure SM7B. I'm not sure if that's actually true or not. I did hear that. Again, this image is gonna be black and white. Again, we're just tagging these images here. Mom took a nap at one point. I caught her in the side room taking a little cat nap, little power nap. Thought that was cool. Profiles play so good here. Can you really give that disposable film camera vibe with sharp? No, 100%. You're right. Absolutely. I love these profiles for dancing, especially with some direct flash. Like it looks really, really cool. Really cool. All right, we're getting to the end of my camera here. There we go. I love a good silent cake cutting too. I don't know if you guys have had more of these throughout the year, but over the last year, we've had a lot of people opting to like not announce their cake cutting. And it's my favorite because you don't get 100 people crowding around you to take photos of the cake cutting. Again, this will probably be a black and white as well. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And he was living his best life. All right, cool. So we've done my camera here. Let me just give you guys an idea of what Batch does. How about that? We'll just Batch.ai my My camera. All right, so in my camera here, we have 788 photos selected. Or sorry, 788 photos all together in my camera. You can see I'm camera 1. I have tagged a total. I just edited a total of 111 photos. And so now we're going to select everything. We're going to go up to File, Plugin Extras, Batch.ai. Hope to God there isn't an update that I have to do. Three stars. Run Batch.ai. That's it. That's what we do. Now it's going to do its thing. It's going to do it real quick. I don't have to leave Lightroom for this, which is amazing. Super incredible. And I think I have a link in my description. If you want to get started with Batch.ai, you can get started today. 500 images for free to get started and test that out. Honestly, really great to test out with an engagement session or a family session or something like that. If you have one of those coming up while we wait, I will just bring up my little sidebar here. Want me to just keep this on? I'm just going to be like looking at the screen the entire time. I won't ever really look up. I keep forgetting to do that. Any diffuser on the flash. Yeah, so I'm using a Godox V1, the V1S, because I'm using Sony, and I have like their modifier, so it's like a domed like diffuser on top, and then I'm using a bounce card to push the light forward as well. So that's what I'm using. That's what I'm using there. I also use a little warming gel on there as well, which is great. So it just edited 677 photos. You can see it. They just populated in here. Like, this matches 100%. Now, it may not be the best match. They're really warm, but they're vibey though, aren't they? You can see here was my base edit, this photo here. Here's everything that followed. Like, nailed it perfectly. All right. Where this struggles is typically in the getting ready because of the amount of different lighting changes. It's going to populate right now, all of the edits. But because of the amount of different lighting changes, it gets a little bit tricky because of, like, you know, it's trying to read all these different lighting scenarios. It's really kind of, it gets tricky in that sense. But yeah, so that is Batch.ai. It's great. Let me see if I can find the portrait. It makes my life so much easier because it just speeds up everything. Like for family pictures, yeah, and sure, I could use the sync setting, but it's different because it's not like I'm just copying and pasting settings across all the photos. It's reading the light, it's reading the histogram, it's reading the exposure. It is looking at things much more intelligently than just syncing photos, you know? So I don't think these are synced yet. Here we go. Yeah, they're coming in. They're a little dark. Actually, that's pretty dead on now that I look at it. So anyway, that's what we just did. We're going to do that with my, actually, let's go to the smaller camera first. Just fewer photos. It's only 21 photos I got to get through here. And actually, let's do this. I want to tag. I want to flag all of these. That way I know which ones I need to edit, because I'm going to bring in my other folder. To kind of pull the other settings from my other camera. That way everything matches. So I just got to keep an eye on the ones that have flags on the thumbnail preview here. Is that a little punchy, a little contrasty? Let's decontrast that. Yeah, I'm excited to get these film scans back from, you know, a little disposable camera. It should be pretty cool. Hope they turn out. That don't look great. Let's fix that. Also, this little white balance tool here, this eyedropper, amazing, life-changing. If you're not using it, use it. It's great to select like white shirts when people are wearing white shirts. Gets you much closer to what the final image should look like, what the color should look like. didn't use flash for this either. Just kind of kept the natural light in the space. We did have a video light over here off to the side. Just for, that's what this is. That's why that he looks so bright and well lit from this. It looks like direct flash almost. It's a little video light just for my videographers to be able to, you know, properly expose for the dude. This is good. I love black and white toast, so like I knew I was already going to turn a lot of these laughter and emotions into black and white in the first place, so I wasn't too concerned about adding flash. Plus, I hate when, I don't know, I get super distracted when a bunch of lights flash on and off throughout the entire reception. So for me, I just end up keeping them off. Plus, for it to actually look really good, I'd have to move the flashes in much closer to them. And the way this dance floor was set up was a little bit tricky because the flash would have been like right next to the speaker here. So it was kind of like a weird scenario. So I just decided to opt for the natural light in the space. I think it turned out all right. Can't get this crop right. These two girls. There we go. And again. You guys have any weddings coming up this weekend? Are you guys shooting this weekend? We have a double header. We got one on Friday, one on Saturday. Super pumped. It's going to be a great time. We're shooting on Friday for a sister of one of our former brides. We're back with their awesome family, and we had our associates shoot their cousin's wedding. So like our business has been involved in what will be now 3 of their family weddings, which is really exciting. And we shot one of her best friend's weddings a couple years back. So it's fun. It'll be cool to always love shooting for family and being able to document multiple members of a family, like major moments like that. Really, really fun. This will likely be a black and white image as well. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Chris. Appreciate it. Take care, man. Yeah, we'll be streaming here until around 1:30, most likely maybe 1:20. I have a call at 1:30 I got to get on. So we'll be hanging out for almost 2 hours or so. That's not going to work. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. One of my favorite things to do too on the dance floor is to break out the 14 to 24 millimeter and just get up in there. These guys are partiers too. Dance floor was packed all night long, the whole night. It was actually difficult to shoot because my hands were just above my head. It felt like the whole time. Obviously, that's not the case with this photo, but it was packed, y'all. It was packed. I already edited this bit. Let's bump this up. Yeah, they were having too much fun. Way too much fun. Live band. It was just a good time. Good time all around. I I used to really hate shooting the dance floor. Now I have a lot of fun with it. Once I was like, let's just get up in there, it really kind of changed things. I used to sit on the outside of like circle, essentially the giant mob on the dance floor, and just kind of shoot with a 85 or a 50 or something. And I didn't get great results. Like I didn't love what I was getting. I never felt like I was part of the party. Throwing that 14 to 24 on, I'm like in there, like getting beer poured on me. Like it's much more fun to like get in the group, be in the crowd. I think we're done here with this group. Let's batch these as well. Same deal. Oh my God, y'all, I didn't realize I still had this question up on screen. My bad. Starting Kelvin white balance when using flash. Great question. I typically, because we have a warming gel on our on camera flash. Flashes typically are at how do I turn this off? Did I do that wrong? There we go. Cool. Yeah, so we're using, some flashes, and flashes set to 5500 Kelvin, and I typically start at 5500 Kelvin, but if I throw a warming gel on my on camera flash, I'll typically bring it down to 5000, maybe under 5000 Kelvin. That's typically where I start, knowing that obviously things can be tweaked and adjusted and things like that. So yeah, that's where I start most of the time, is about 5000, maybe 5500. Just depends on what I'm using on my camera, or on my flash, sorry, if I'm using that warming gel or not. But hardly ever am going over 5500, just because I'm finding I like that cooler look. Apparently my son is watching at home and waving to the TV with me. Hi, Jack. We'll say hi. We're on our last camera, just going through the images from Steph, my wife's camera, while she was with the bride. Make sure that this is on. No, I think it's a half CTO, I believe, is what I have on there. And honestly, it may even be a quarter CTO. In case you don't know what CTO stands for, guys, it is color temperature orange. If you were to put a blue warming gel on there, it would be CTB, color temperature blue. Just in case anybody is wondering. Hang on, let's just take from. All right. Lovely. Yeah, I started using that warming gel because finding that I just liked the little bit of pop of warmth, because I wanted to make sure we could a little bit more accurately. Oh, thanks, my man. Appreciate. I will have an espresso on you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You're the best. Yeah, I've been adding that warming gel because a lot of the receptions we walk into just are, yeah, like they're just orange, right? Like there's just a lot of orange. I'll probably get rid of this photo, by the way, but for the sake of batching things, it needs to stay in there. So adding that color temperature orange, that gel, helps us balance out the total light in the reception room. You can get rid of this. Yep. Should I get rid of this too? I feel like I should get rid of this. I don't want to change their house, but they're gonna be like, I think there's a what? Well, guys, let me tell you a little bit about this course I'm recording because it's pretty cool. So again, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I had a Patreon for a little while. And is this still there? Can I delete you? Thank you. Goodness. Had a Patreon for a while, had a lot of cool content up there. Was finding that I just felt like it wasn't as helpful as I wanted it to be. So I'm reworking this entire thing out. So what this is now going to be is a 6-month-long course membership. And essentially what that means is we're going to be covering one topic essentially per month for 6 months. So first month really is just getting you guys starting, thinking about where you're currently at, self-reflecting, getting an idea of how you can grow your business. I'm going to be giving you some tools, templates, things like consultation scripts, helping you determine your why, helping you determine a direction you want to go in. Month 2 is all about shooting. You're going to learn lighting, posing, direction, prompting, all of those things. Month 3 is editing. I'm going to talk about editing, talk about how I approach editing. Stuff that for me is currently like on autopilot, but took me a little bit of time to kind of figure out my editing style. We can determine how you can find your editing style and how you can best, create work that you're proud of. How you can be consistent, how you can speed up your editing as well, things like that. Month 4 is workflows and kind of getting an idea of, how can I have my business run on autopilot. Month 5 is all about marketing. So we're going to be talking marketing, giving you tools, templates, resources for that, getting you guys in a good spot so that you can start getting a good foundation built so that you can just kind of book weddings automatically without having to work for it. Like, we don't do a whole lot of marketing in our business. We rely a lot on venues and vendors and client referrals, things like that. And then the little bit of stuff we do on Instagram. And that pretty much builds our business for us. It brings us clients, all those things. Talking a lot about how you can do the same thing in your business. And then month 6 is, where do I go from here? We're going to reflect back a little bit on the growth you made over the last 6 months. I'm giving you guys pretty much like just a roadmap, a clear plan. Let's put everything in place so you guys can, elevate your business, elevate your photography, reach the next level, be able to charge more money, be able to book more clients, and just kind of build a foundation. I think a lot of, this is going to be tricky. There we go. A lot of courses I find end up like, how do you get clients now? And like, unfortunately, wedding photography in the beginning, I think, is really just a slow burn. You got to really put in the time and effort and work to build the business, build the foundation, and people should come. If you build it right, people will come, and you'll get clients. It's just about creating that foundation. So that's kind of what the course is looking like right now. I would love to hear, hey, what would you guys love for me to add? What would you want in this course to make it worth your while to invest in yourself and your education? What is something that you would need in a course to make it be worth it to you? So I'm so interested. I'm wondering if there's stuff I'm missing that I haven't added to this course. So please feel free, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. This isn't me pitching you the course necessarily. I'd love for you to be a part of it once it comes out. And then my dream after that, like what I would love to happen after that course, after you complete those 6 months, is to move into a back-end membership where you can stay connected with other people who went through the course with you, other people who are building their business, other like-minded photographers, trying to grow their business, trying to serve their clients to the best of the ability. And my hope is that I'm able to build a library of other interviews with other photographers, other creatives, build a library of interviews with them, behind the scenes content from both myself and other photographers, and be able to just release a whole bunch of content each month that is really helpful. Do some live streams, live Q&As, live editing of like your images, live website audits, live editing audits, like portfolio audits, like random things like that to really help you guys build your business, grow your business to the best of your ability. So that's kind of the plan. Look, if you're interested in that, hop on the waitlist. There's a link in my description. You can sign up for the waitlist and get some info when it comes out. But I'd love to hear, hey, what do you want to see in a course from me? And yeah, so that's it. Sebastian's asking, nice work as always. Thank you so much. Which of your presets are you using? So Sebastian, I'm actually using right now, I'm using Archetype Process film profiles. Started messing around with these, I think halfway through last year, just to kind of see what all the fuss was about, because I saw a lot of people starting to use them. I really love the look. And so I'm not using anything that is currently mine, but the closest thing to get you here, if you're using one of my presets, I'm also working, by the way, to update a whole bunch of presets to get you stuff that is more film-like. The preset that you'd want to use is probably like filmic shadows. That's probably going to get you close to what this looks like. That would be my recommendation for you guys. If you're using my presets, but not currently using my presets right now. Only thing I miss in all the courses I have is an internship. I would love an intern. That would be super cool. I just don't know how I'd be able to handle an employee and run a business at the same time. That's my struggle with internships, because we've had interns come on in the past. Anyway, Silver Gold Photography asking, which flash did you use in the church? Are you ready for this? I didn't use any flash in the church. No flash. We're just cranking some ISO, and actually the church was fairly, it was pretty well lit, to be honest. So no flash in the church. I actually I don't love using flashes during ceremonies because I find it super distracting. Again, like flash is popping during these intimate, important moments. I just don't love it. But no flash in the church. Didn't use any of that. And yeah, just kept it all natural light in that space. So what you're seeing is what the light was like in that space. It was a well-lit, it was a pretty well-lit church, especially like the altar area looked pretty nice. So yeah, didn't have to use any flash there, which was great. Alexa, play music. Guys, what should I have my Alexa play music for me for? What should I listen to? Alexa, stop it. What should I ask her to play? I need some music recommendations. You guys won't be able to hear it, but it'll at least keep me sane, because my music went off like 5 minutes ago and I've just been sitting in silence. Music still playing on here? I hope it is. I did update music for you guys because I was sick of the internal lo-fi music they gave, and I was like, I need to get people some new music. So hopefully you guys like the new music that's in here. Hopefully it's better than what I've given you guys in the past. This is the built-in music from StreamYard. I'm using StreamYard for live streaming here because it's super easy. Music suggestions though. Throw me some music suggestions. I need it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna ask it to play music and it's gonna give me garbage. Yeah, the street shot. Yeah, man. I there were so many candid moments happening outside. Loved it. So many candid moments. A lot of hugs, a lot of smiles, things like that. Love all of that stuff. So we were just capturing as much as we could. If I had my way, I think I would love for weddings to just be just full on candid moments. Like if couples could just be all over each other all the time and we could just be around, that would be ideal. I think everybody needs a timeline though, and that's what's happening. We're seeing you got to schedule portrait time with the couple, and that's fine. I really don't mind doing that, but I wish that like weddings worked in the way that we could just capture candid moments all day, which is what we do for most of the job. But things have become so commercialized or so I don't know, like things are just there's just a standard now. Like it wasn't like this, 20 years ago. Everybody has to have a timeline. You got to do things a certain way. Clients are expecting something, and you certainly could build your brand around just candid moments. Absolutely. But it's a little tricky now with what people are looking for, what people want out of their wedding photographs. And but yeah, still my favorite thing is to capture those hugs, those smiles, those genuine moments. Portraits are fun too, but I want to make sure like this wedding day is not a photo shoot. It's not a photo shoot. We're just happen to take some couples portraits during your wedding day. That's about it. But I don't want things to feel staged or contrived or forced even. So getting rid of this side back here. 100. All right. Weddings in Portugal are a bit different. No first look. Photos with the guests are after, during the appetizers. No speeches. It's so interesting to me how weddings are like so different from place to place. Like, I don't know if is it just American culture right now that we live in that has forced weddings to become what they are, at least over here in the States. Very interested to know what weddings are like, in other countries. It's different everywhere. There's a flash going off back there. You can see a little bit of flash happening. I'm gonna lean into that. This will probably also be black and white to be on it. Yeah, it just looks cleaner in black and white. Oh. Oh. Guys, no one's giving me music recommendations. I need some music recommendations because my mind is blanking on. I don't think any bands exist anymore. I can't think of any bands. Put on. Now that I say that, I think of like 3 bands, but they're all like punk emo bands. I just listen to like hey Alexa, play My Chemical Romance. We'll throw back. Let's do that. I hope you guys can't hear this music because I don't want this stream to be copyrighted. I don't need any copyright strike. Flavor war on drugs. Next time, once this playlist runs out, I'll throw those down. I don't know where people, like, we got 2 out of 3 people here. Definitely know the drill. I don't know where she's looking though. Not much I can do about that. We did have a little time of our life moment here. All right, so everything is batched here from this last camera. Let's go in and let's batch this last guy here. All right. So again, yeah, I love Batch.ai because I don't have to leave. I don't have to leave Lightroom. I don't got to do anything to get these things batched and all the images matching. It's just editing some anchors, running Batch.ai, and then in a matter of like minutes, not even minutes. This will take a minute max. It's 12:58 right now. This will be done by 12:59. I would bet money on that. Here we go. Wonderful. I'm concerned my stream froze, but I don't know if that actually did. I'm looking at my stream here on StreamYard. Oh God, we've done it again. We've broken it. We've broken it. Hang tight, y'all. We're gonna get some Inception stuff happening here real quick. Broke the stream again. What is going on? There's got to be a better way. I'm sure that better way is to not use StreamYard, but whatever. 217 Photo and Cinema. 217, are you guys located in Philly? Are you guys in the Philly area too? I feel like I recognize your business name. I feel like I recognize that name. I'll answer your question in a second. I'm just trying to get this I screwed up my extended display here. We're gonna have to fix this again. I just need to get a second monitor instead of using my iPad. Yeah, dresser. Okay, gotcha. Cool. Let me see here. Let me get this back up. Bam. Okay, cool. Yeah, we work with Clipper. Yeah. They're the best. They're the best. Tuned in late. Batch.ai uses a few selects that you make to do the rest of the edit. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I create, I tag about 10 to maybe 15% of, my overall images. I like to break it up. I found the best way to do this is to like separate it into cameras. So I'll go and tag, each new lighting situation from, this camera here, edit those anchors, 10 to 15% of the images. And then I'll select every image and, Batch.ai will take my anchors, my reference images and match the rest of the images to those anchors. So I do that for each camera. If you were to do it for like your entire selection, like you can see here are some of my images, and then here's my second shooter's, my wife's images. What would end up happening is, like, here's a good example. Here's an anchor. This anchor here will actually end up applying the edits to these two images, which is why I go camera by camera. If you were to do this, you know, with all the images in one pool, it would do it incorrectly, because it's gonna make, you know, using the anchors much more difficult. So I didn't explain that very well, I don't think, but that's that's essentially how I do it. So I go camera by camera, make the anchors for each new lighting scenario, and then it batches and works that way. It's pretty easy to use, and I don't have to leave Lightroom to do it. And then once I batch all of my images, I go and I make my blog selects. So these are the ones I've already selected for the blog, and I'll go in now and go photo by photo and just make the necessary edits, the necessary tweaks to make sure these are ready to go out. And then after that, after those are edited, those previews are edited, I'll go through a third time and go through every single photo and make sure everything is like fine-tuned, really refined, even the blog image ones. I want to make sure I get a blog up and out to them within the first week. I typically try and get it out by ideally today, maybe tomorrow if I can't get it up today. But yeah, it makes editing much more easy. It takes the creative load off my brain. You know, I don't have to do a ton of heavy lifting. It's already done for me because of batching. It's great. It's awesome. Wolfpack Softball, are you using Flash now? So sorry. Don't know when you asked that question. If it was at the reception, chances are yes. But yeah, so did you guys, let me ask, did you guys prefer if I had this over and up? Would you guys prefer to see the top of my head? Is that better? Let's do that. Wolfpack Softball also asks, how do you get people to all look at the main camera when people want to get the same shot with their phones? Yeah, that is also difficult sometimes. I pretty much yell at them, hey, everybody look here, look at me, look at this camera right here, wave, wave, everybody look here, and I'll try and get it to where they all look at me. Sometimes that does not happen. If I'm finding that I'm walking into a scenario where, you know, there's other person next to me, they want to take a group photo, and they have their iPhone out, I'll tell everybody, hey, look at them first, look at this guy here with his iPhone first, and then I'll have him look at me after he gets his shot. That way I'm getting his shot out of the way, and I can then get mine where everybody's looking at me. So it just depends, but sometimes when you have a group photo, like we did on the steps outside this church, you got people around you. You can't possibly give everybody time to take the photo. So I just say, everybody look right here. And if honestly, at that point, if they don't look at me, there's not much I can do. They chose not to look at me, and that was the choice they made. So it's just how it goes, right? Because I know there was one lady in that reception photo who was looking. 2 out of 3 people looked at the camera, but she was looking somewhere else, and that's just how it is. Like, I'm not quite sure. That's always again, like exit signs and what was I saying? Exit signs and something else. The bane of my existence. Oh, the YouTube algorithm. That's what it is. Yeah. So we're gonna turn this black and white. How are you culling? Just manually the first few days after a wedding. That's always been the goal, but season gets busy and then culling gets pushed back. Yeah, 217 photo. We're pretty much I culled these on, I think I might have done this yesterday while my son was napping. It took me about an hour. It took me about an hour or so to cull everything. And I just like schedule it in, you know, like I know, like for my workflow, I know that I need to, if I'm going to get a blog up on Tuesday or Wednesday, I need to have this thing culled by the end of the day, Monday, so that on Tuesday I can spend an hour or 2 hours just kind of going through the pictures, getting things culled and edited, and just kind of keeping up on, like I have I have a schedule in a way for myself. Like I have a deadline for certain things. Like if I were to be doing this for a studio where there's a bunch of other photographers or something, and we needed to have a deadline to get pictures up, like if you're working in an office space, you know, there's deadlines for your job, right? And so I try and treat it in that same way. Like I need to give myself a deadline or it's never going to get done. And so for me, Tuesday, Wednesday, my goal is to get a blog up. And I know if I'm going to do that, I got to edit, and to edit, I got to cull. So it's kind of like Monday is going to be my culling day. And it's just kind of how I work anyway. I know it's only going to take me an hour, maybe 90 minutes at the most to cull through the pictures. So I'm just kind of dedicating that to, but dude, I totally get it. Season gets busy. And as someone also who does photo and video, it gets to be a lot, and culling video is the worst. So yeah, we've brought on some, you know, editing teams and stuff like that to help us with, you know, with our editing workflow and things like that. Cause doing both was really time consuming, but photo wise, yeah, I'm going through narrative select and using some AI there to help me with the culling process, and that makes it much smoother. I'm not culling right within Lightroom. Culling in I'd recommend narrative select. It's free to download. You can get started today with that. They have some advanced features for like paid users, which is great. But yeah, I also recommend Photo Mechanic. You can always, this is definitely a black photo. This is great. Photo Mechanic's like $150 one-time payment, I think. So highly recommend that. Or narrative select, which is free. So either one works. Oh, I didn't edit this photo. Let's. We'll duplicate this one for black and white. Yeah. Yeah, it's just about deadlines. It's just about like, I know I need to meet my deadline, and to do that, I gotta cull and get it out of the way. It's one of those things where it's like doing the dishes, right? You know, it's not gonna take a long time necessarily, but it feels like it's going to, and it feels a little torturous in the moment, or even leading up to the moment. Once you're doing it, you're like, all right, this isn't so bad. But leading up to it, you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm a huge like advocate for like, hey, I don't like outsourcing culling. I think that a photographer's job should be culling, but I think a photographer's job should be culling for sure. I don't think that should be sent out to anybody else, but it just depends on the studio, I guess, too. But thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, send me a DM on Instagram, and let's grab some coffee sometime. Would love to connect. Always looking to connect with some more people in the Philly area for sure. Would be more than happy to do that. Yeah, send me a DM, man, on Insta. Do people say Insta still? Am I just old? On the gram. Send me a DM on the gram. Would love that. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. Let's connect, man. Would love to do that. Let's make it happen. Glad you're here. Glad you found me. That's cool. This was Phil running out of his house. His neighbors were cheering him on. And for some reason, he's holding a roll of paper towels. I'm not really sure what was going on in this moment, but guys, we're gonna hang online here for another, maybe 5-10 minutes. I got a call at 1:30. I got to take. So any questions you have, Now's the time to ask them. I'm super thrilled you guys hung out with me today. I really appreciate you guys hanging. Looking to do this more every week. I'll be back next week editing one of the weddings from this weekend. Just trying to create some more content for you guys and be a little bit more present here on the YouTubes. Definitely making this a regular thing. It's just gonna be the same deal every week. Just coming in, hanging out, ask some questions. Is there anything you think I should add to the live streams? How can I make this better? Look, I don't feel like I'm the most entertaining person in the world. Hopefully you guys enjoy hanging out here. I mean, there's 14 of you and 15 of you in here, which is pretty cool. I know it's a low number for some other streamers, but to me, I'm like, there's 15 people here. If I had 15 of you in my room right now in the studio, it'd be jam-packed in here. So I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate all of you. Wolfpack, I'm using Kodak 800, Portrait 800 right now for the profile. Love Portrait 800. Looks too good. Looks too good. I want to shoot it for real, but it's just so expensive. So expensive to shoot like real Portrait 800 film. Someday. This is going to be black and white. And for black and white, I'm using the Kodak Tri-X normal. Typically what I'm using. And I like to pump the contrast there too. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking. On average, you can pretty much bet that I'm using Portrait 800, Portrait 400, Portrait 160, or Fuji 400 Pro. Or Pro 400. There's Pro 400H. It's just a mouthful. It's super sad that that's not even really in stock anymore anywhere. You can't buy that anywhere. Yeah, those are pretty much the ones I use. Yeah, it's super expensive. It's kind of dumb. I hope the price goes down at some point. It was a bad time to get into film photography. I just kind of started last year and really love it a lot. But man, it's so expensive. But there's nothing like film. Really incomparable. You can't find anything else like it. Yeah, like 5 years ago, it really just it was, I think around COVID, it really just spiked. Like it really peaked. And I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's just like the production of things are stopping, like coming to a halt. I'm not sure what happened, but it's sad, really. We need more film, especially with film trending now. Like I feel like, so I did a poll not long ago on Instagram and asked like, hey, would you be more likely to book a photographer if they shot a roll or two of film? And it was like overwhelmingly yes. So like people are more likely, if you want to start shooting film and you want to use it as a selling tool, you could tell everybody you have a consultation with, hey, I shoot a roll or two for free on your wedding day. And as long as you shoot that roll or two, you're keeping your word there, and they may be more likely to book you because people want that. I don't know. There's something nostalgic about shooting film. So anyway, I haven't used, I did that poll so I could find out. And then when it was yes, everybody wants film, I really meant to start incorporating that into my sales calls to like, hey, I'll shoot a roll or two of film for free on your wedding day as like a little incentive, but I haven't really used that as a sales tactic yet. But yeah, everybody wants film. Yeah, it got expensive. Yeah, right around 2021, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was the effects of COVID or not, but it definitely spiked. And in case you're wondering too, every time I create, or almost every time, like 90% of the time I create a black and white, I create a virtual copy, and if you want to know how to create a virtual copy, all you got to do is hit Command. It's Command apostrophe, and that creates a virtual copy for you. That's the shortcut. Much easier than going in, right-clicking, create virtual copy. Command apostrophe or Control apostrophe does the work. Like, that's better as a black and white, right? Like, I feel like it is. Again, I'm just so partial to black and white images. Yeah, so I think a lot of hybrid shooters will shoot film and match digitals to the film scan. I'm out of focus here. We're gonna make that black and white. Yeah, it really to match the digitals to the film scan. Thankfully, like, I don't know, like I think that the digital, like this looks so good. Like, I'm finding that I like the look of my digitals sometimes better than I like the look of the film I shoot. And my lab is pretty good at what they send back. I mean, there's definitely times where I'm like, I prefer the film. The film definitely looks pretty darn good. But I just love the look I get with these Archetype Process film profiles. I love this raw motion here from both of them. Oh my God, the best. Like this, that's a magic shot right there. We're gonna, yeah, baby. Okay. God, I love that. That's a favorite for sure. Yeah, I love the digital. I love the digitals, the way they look, but there's still something about film that just, you can't replicate it. There's something about it that just makes it just next level, even though like the look of the digitals may look better, like it may align more with like my work. There's still something about the analog, the realness of the film. I don't know. Personally, for me, I don't really care too much to match it. Like, I just love, I shoot really differently when I shoot film, and it's way more intentional. And, you know, I think something that doesn't often get talked about when we're talking about photography is it's not really it's like, how do I explain this? Photography isn't just taking the photo, right? It's not just capturing a moment. It's not getting your settings right. It's not just all of that. It's also knowing when to take the picture. It's knowing when to click that shutter. It's knowing, you know, how long do I wait for this moment before it plays out to the point to where I need to snap that photo. The anticipation leading up to a moment. There are times where I've sat staring at somebody with my camera up pointed at them, knowing that they're gonna laugh in a second. I'm anticipating that moment. I'm waiting for it to happen, and they finally do, and I click that shutter. So knowing when to take the picture, I feel like for me it's way less, you know, shoot and pray sort of thing. Like digital, you know, I shoot with 128 gig cards in my camera. I can shoot, you know, I never fill up cards at weddings. I can shoot all the photos I want, but I got 36 frames, 36 exposures in a single roll of film. I have to use those wisely. And so shooting for me is different when it comes to film. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. But I end up really shooting very differently. And so I think the magic in film is partially that, is that the intent is different when I take a photo. So I don't know, just to get a little bit philosophical there, I guess, in a way, but there's magic behind film. I mean, even just the chemical process, right? Like you're almost creating like a physical potion, a concoction to pull out like an image that was captured and sealed in time in this roll. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that it even exists in the first place. Anyway, Film, it's magic and it's expensive, but I guess that's the cost of creating magic is money. But anyway, guys, I got to take a call in about 9 minutes, so I'm going to bounce off this live stream. Look, I appreciate you guys all staying, hanging out with me. You guys are awesome. I appreciate. How do I get to the full screen? There we go. God, I got to learn how to be a better live streamer. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you guys want to check out these photos, they're going to be up on my blog probably later tonight, maybe tomorrow if I don't get to it today. But yeah, I would love for you to check them out, see how they turned out, see how I present these photos for the first time to the couple on our blog. And yeah, look, thank you for hanging. Last question from 217 was, where was this wedding? We were at St. Catherine of Siena for the church ceremony, and then we were at the 1912 Club in Plymouth Meeting for the reception. And yeah, so we were right here in the Philly suburbs. That's where the wedding was, and yeah, very beautiful wedding. Really great. Loved editing this. Loved shooting it. They're gonna freak out when they see these photos. They're gonna love them. I love them a lot. So I was smiling like a goober yesterday at my computer as I'm culling through these pictures, like just like smiling at the screen, clicking through. I see like I look like an idiot. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Look, I'll be doing this every week when we have weddings. So we'll be back again next week with another live edit. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I got to say that, please. It helps. I appreciate you guys. So anyway, thank you for hanging, and I'll see you guys later.